Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. What is going on? What is good with you? It is your boy, Maurice the Prophet. And yes, this is the premiere event. The illustrious return of the 23rd hour wrestling podcast show. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so glad to be back with everybody. I am so glad that everyone is in tune. And I'm so glad that we are at WrestleMania weekend. What a time it is to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. If my eyes are all over the place, I'm still kind of like getting used to being back on the controls, the board and everything. I did a little test run earlier today and making sure everything was all good, crystal clear. And I think we're okay right now. I think we're good to go. We're going to cook. We're going to talk about WrestleMania. But first, I want to thank everyone for being a part of tonight's very special episode. Because why is it special? Because this is the official relaunch of the return of B-Side Studios. B-Side Studios and all of our content, all of our programming, all of our events. We are back and we are better than ever than we were before. As a lot of you all know, we took a year off from programming just to be able to kind of get ourselves together. Really, a big piece of it, to be real with you, was that I had a lot of changes that were going on in my own personal life, and I needed to see how to be able to balance everything when it came to like what was going on career-wise, what was going on at home, what was going on with family, what was going on with the brand as well too. And I just wanted to make sure that there was an adequate balance. And it got to a point where the time I wanted to dedicate to B-Side, it wasn't all there. And my whole thing was like, if I can't give you everything, I can't give you anything at all. And if I can't give you my all, then I give you nothing. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but the thing is always that like I never want to just go halfway in with y'all. I gotta go all the way through with you guys. And now, a year later, having a year to be able to kind of like mend those issues and be able to kind of get things together the way how they should be and everything like that. Now I'm able to give you it all. And we back, baby. And we back. And what a time to be back. The best time to be back is for WrestleMania weekend. And not just WrestleMania weekend, but WrestleMania week just in general. Like, this entire week of wrestling has been, I mean, like, if you are a wrestling fan, like, this seriously is like the greatest time of the year. It really is. Like, you can't get any better than where we are right now. If you all can, if you all have any problems when it comes to hearing me, please let me know. I will show up on the StreamYard. This is an example. Click on the comment. Let me know if there's any issues or anything like that when it comes to my audio or it comes to my video or whatever. I'm working with a lot of new equipment right now, so I wanted to make sure everything is as smooth as possible. But let me know. Be transparent. Be real. Be honest. If anything is coming in kind of funky on your end. But I want to be able to hear you guys. I want to be able to know what y'all are thinking, know what y'all are saying, and know what you all are feeling at this moment. We are, like I was saying, this has been WrestleMania week, and this has been a very, very interesting week just in general with pro wrestling. Not just inside the ring, but outside the ring. We're gonna touch on a lot of different bases tonight, y'all. We're gonna touch on a lot of different areas when it comes to just like what we've been seeing this entire week so far, because it has been. It really has been very it's been a lot. It's been a lot that we have seen, and it's a lot of information that's out there. It's a lot of conversations that need to be had, and a lot of things that need to be touched on as well too, just from not just from a fan's perspective, but also just from a personal, philosophical standpoint as well too, and also humane standpoint, but from a bunch of different standpoints. But I want to touch on what we saw that was happening in Vegas, because as we all know, WrestleMania 41 was taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada. This started tonight, and leading up to Mania was all of the independent wrestling promotions that came together this week. They formed the collective, which took place at the Palms Casino. We saw just night after night, I think since Wednesday, I want to say, night after night of just like of like what seemed like nonstop independent wrestling from all the indie promotions all around America, and even some international ones as well too. We saw independent. We saw GCW, we saw Progress, we saw JP, TJPW, we saw, of course, Fourth Rope, we saw Asahi, we saw if you freaking Defy. I mean, you name it, we saw it. Dragon Gate, they were all there, put on some spectacular shows, and we last night during, I think it was either during or after the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, West Side Gun, as you all know, hip hop rapper, he's a hip hop artist. He's from Griselda. He's very much into, obviously, like, if he's really heavy into pro wrestling, and he has developed his own promotion called Fourth Rope. And he's been putting on some really amazing wrestling shows, across the country. Like, he did one. He did his first show in Chicago back in November. He did a second show in Atlanta. I want to say it was like in January or something like that. Third show, I believe it was in Austin, Texas at South by Southwest. And he did his fourth show this weekend, yesterday in Vegas, during Mania week. And it was called The Heels Have Eyes 4. And the thing is with his shows, their shows are like, damn, they're like dream matches. So last night, he had so many good, like, really great names in there. Like, he had Matt Riddle against Gabe Kidd. He had Masha Slamovich was in the tag match. He had a battle royal with to crown the new the flyweight champion. I mean, it was just like names from like yesteryear, names that you see now. Zilla Fatu wrestled in the cage match. It was just a lot of just like really incredible performances that took place last night with Fourth Rope. And also Flatbush Zombies performed, along with Joey Badass performed as well too. It's just a really cool, unique mix hybrid of wrestling and hip hop, and it's done the right way. It's not done where it's a very, like a very hokey sort of example. I mean, it really is done like the right way when it comes to marrying those two, those two loves, those two artistic loves together, and he just does a great job at it. But last night was incredible. It was crazy because it started at about 12:50 Las Vegas time, which means that's 2:50 a.m. Chicago time. Now, it worked out for me personally because I've been sick this past week. This week has been brutal on me. And the last few days, I've been doing nothing but sleeping. But yesterday, I was able to kind of get my energy back. And I felt a lot better yesterday. And because of that, because I've been sleeping for so many days, yesterday I had so much energy that I unintentionally pulled an all-nighter. That was the right time for it to happen because I was able to watch Fourth Rope, and I watched the entire show up until 6 this morning of the Chicago time, and it was totally worth it. I'm literally running on 1 hour of sleep, but I don't care. It's totally worth it. It's Mania week. Who got time for sleep anyway? When so much is going on and so much is happening, we got to get a lot of things done. You know what I'm saying? So it was a really great show. Check him out if you can. Be able to try to follow him, follow his work, because he's doing a lot of cool stuff when it comes to independent promotions. And what's really great about what we've been seeing, though, when it comes to just like how the indies have been working together, this isn't like, the indies really have been showing that they can be just as substantial as being able to be signed with a major company or whatever may have you. Like they're showing that you can make a living, you can really earn a living doing this type of work and get a major following and really be able to build up your own brand, your own brand and everything, your own identity. And I feel like it's in a much greater position right now versus like what we're talking about maybe like 25 years ago when you're in the indies, because now everyone has the opportunity to be able to have a worldwide platform and be able to build your brand up for yourself. And pro wrestling is the perfect tool to be able to do that, to be able to do this, where you're not only limited to just having to sign with a big promotion and get that worldwide exposure. No, you can be an independent wrestler, an independent artist, and you can sign on with these with these short term promotions while you're promoting yourself, and you can still make a substantial living, doing so, and have a significant following. So just where we are right now, just in general, when it comes to just in the indies in general, we're in a really great place right now with independent promotion, with independent wrestling. And this week really was a pure example of this as well too. And I was really glad to see all that. It felt good being able to just be able to turn on Triller and be able to select, hey, which promotion do I want to watch today or tonight or whatever may have you. So it really was cool seeing all that and everything. But that was, so it was a great time out in Vegas. Obviously, I wasn't out there. I'm still out here in Chicago recovering and everything. But just seeing like the electricity, seeing the energy that's out there from the fans, from everybody out there, from everybody on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it nowadays. It really just it's like this. We really are in a really great place. We really are, and it's because I'll give it to the big empire. WrestleMania brings all that together for everybody to be able to really create something that's really magical and really be able to really take away with them. So it's great seeing that. It's really great seeing that. But also, woo, you want to talk about some news though? You want to talk about some news, boy? Oh man! So with Mania Week, Mania Week, obviously has its share of media attention as well too. That it brings it brings a lot of media attention to itself, and and rightfully so. Of course, all eyes are going to be on everything that's going on when it comes to what's going on in the WWE, what the talk of the town is going to be, what the matches are slated up to be and everything, and the buzz for WrestleMania itself is it's a juggernaut by itself. But good lord, the PR for WWE this week has been on a different level. Let me tell y'all, for real. And yeah, we're gonna we're gonna touch on this, and I gotta give my thoughts about this as well too, because this is too crazy to pass up. You can't ignore this. You cannot ignore this whatsoever. You cannot ignore this. So here's the thing. So we all are I'm pretty sure, I don't have to go into too much, intricate detail about what exactly was said or what was done. We can kind of do the footnotes version of what took place. First off, Nick Khan, as Nick Khan, he's one of the heads. He's one of the heads of WWE, who runs it with Triple H. And hold on one second, guys. 1 second. What's up, Clint? I'm live right now, bro. All right. So as you know, so Nick Khan, he was in an interview, and to be honest with you, I can't remember who he was interviewing with right now. If someone wants to put in the comments, feel free. But I can't remember who he was in an interview with. However, he was being interviewed this week, and I think was it that Ariel Hawali guy? I believe so. I'm sorry, I'm not the greatest journalist in the world, so please do not kill me over that. However, he was talking, and for some reason, AEW was brought up. So of course, and it's been really weird how WWE constantly has been bringing up AEW so much, and it's why? Even many times during this run for Mania, there were a number of references that were made about AEW, that were put out there, from the WWE, and it's why do you keep bringing them up? I know that there was back and forth, whatever may have you, about a couple of years ago, but now it's that's kind of died down, but WWE has kind of been taking little shots at them and everything, that we've been seeing, for the past few weeks, even very subtle stuff as well too. But he made mention about that WWE is the underdog in everything, and it's wait a second, when is the WWE the underdog? Like, how? Explain this to me. For real, seriously, please explain this to me. Because from the last I checked, you were the revolutionary leader of all pro wrestling for like the last like damn near 80 years. So like, how are y'all the underdog? How are you guys the underdog when seriously you have the entire world who backs you in every instance? You know, if anybody were to give like some justified reasonable criticism uh towards WWE's direction, you have an entire army that is willing to, completely bust down barriers and break apart nations to make sure they defend your brand. So for you to say you're the underdog is just so it's like okay, that really is a reach, bro. That really is a reach. Um, so yeah, so it was that. And then you had the newest member of the Hall of Fame, Triple H. He was on a talk show where I believe it was the what's that comedian's name, Andrew from Brilliant Idiots, Charlemagne's co-star, Andrew Schultz. He was on his podcast, and some mention about Trump because Andrew Schultz loves talking about Trump all the time. Like whenever he gets a chance, he has like some kind of like weird obsession over him that he doesn't want to admit. But he brought up Trump was brought up, and then Triple H went on just completely just glorifying Donald Trump in terms of just like how much he admires him and how much he thinks he's like he's a shark and he's someone that you have to admire and you have to look up to, and this, that, and the third and everything. And the thing is that like you can have your you can obviously have your opinions about like how it is that you look up to somebody and everything, but I just think like it's kind of like it's interesting how that's being talked about at a time where we're living in the times we are right now. That leads into also John Cena, who is challenging for the WWE Championship tomorrow against Cody Rhodes, where he went on the whole thing about how he has this overt love for Vince McMahon, and we know what Vince McMahon is going through. Right? The allegations on Vince McMahon when it comes to the sexual assault and and among other things, and trafficking and everything, and it's just like. It's weird that you're bringing this up right now, leading next to Roman Reigns, who just main event night one of WrestleMania 41 this tonight. His almost pretty much matching what Triple H is talking about when it comes to his overt love. Well, I should say overt love, but also his admiration for the type of quote unquote leader that Donald Trump is and everything. And here's my thing, right? So I'm not gonna sit here and say what anyone should think. Like whatever you think, whatever your thought, your position is in terms of where you position yourself in terms of like how you view people and what your lens is on people. That's totally up to you. That's completely up to you. You have every right to feel how you want to feel about people. My thing is though is that WWE historically, from a historical standpoint, has always kind of like remained neutral when it came to its political and social proclivities when it came to like the issues that we had going on or we have among ourselves. They always kind of seem balanced and kind of just in the middle of things, even though we knew if you really wanted to kind of like dig into it, you kind of knew exactly where Vince McMahon back in the day, kind of stood, from a political standpoint. However, there was room for argument back, excuse me, back in like the Attitude Era, where you could have made the argument that no, Vince was more liberal because of how he was, very much pro freedom of speech, freedom of expression, very anti-government, things of that nature. But as we moved away from that, you saw that, he was more inclined to lean more towards the right. And that was just kind of like one of those things that you just kind of knew about, but it wasn't thrown into your face like that. It wasn't just like flipped into your face. Even remember that one time when Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton they were running for president, they had them both do videos of on Monday Night Raw, and I want to say they have John McCain do a video as well too. I want to say I can't remember, but remember they had both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton on doing videos, just when they were campaigning, and so they've had all sides, kind of be represented onto the show, whether they really were represented or if they were, kind of like poking fun or whatever may have you. It was everyone. It was like anybody could get it. So you always kind of knew that neutrality was really where they lied at, really where they were. However, this week though, it really did show that this is the stance that we are taking now, and I feel that now that the WWE is under the ownership of TKO, and who else does TKO own? They own the UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship. And the UFC, as we have seen, they have made it very clear about their political stances. They have made it clear that we are very unapologetic about that we support the likes of a Donald Trump. We have made it very clear that we are very much gearing our product towards to white males as well too. When it comes to the aggression and the aggression, the fighting, we garner our product towards them, and we cater toward that is our audience that we cater towards. So I feel in a way that TKO may have had a meeting with WWE and was like, listen, you know what, like what you guys have been doing has been cute, but since we own you now, since you are a part of this, we want you to be real with your identification, and we want you to keep it 1,000 with everybody that this is who we are as a company, this is who we stand with, and that's what it is. And I really believe that that's where I was, because all of that happening in almost a sequence, it seems like, where it was like one day after the other, after the other, after the other. To me, that's not by accident. That's all by design. That's not by accident. So I feel that this is just their way of, once again, carving out their identity and reestablishing themselves in their identity in terms of like who they are and who they're going to be moving forward, especially since they're under the tutelage of TKO. I thought that was very interesting, because I'm like, why is this all happening all at once? Because it's not like WWE doesn't know how to move. Like, it's not like they don't know how to be able to, like move around and how to be able to conduct themselves when it comes to the public eye, when it comes to the media or anything. But then this happened in almost a sequence, and you're like, huh. It makes you think a little bit. It makes you wonder a little bit, like, okay, what's really the motive? What really is the motivation behind this and everything? And that's where I think it is. I think that's that. I think it's them letting us know that this is who we are now. And if you don't like it, then that's tough. But this is who we are. And if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. And that's the thing, is that like there's a lot of somewhere else's. Oh, that wasn't rude. But there's a lot of somewhere else's. There's a lot of options now. And that's where that is. So, and that's kind of like where we are. Like, we are right now, we're in a very different America right now. We're in a very different life. We're in a very different world right now, where you have to be very careful about those, like what's put out there. And you have to be also very mindful about, what's out there as well too. And you have to be kind of strategic in terms of like the way how you move and everything. So this was a strategy that they're executing for themselves, for their brand. And that's what that is. So, so yeah, as a fan, if you were kind of like in the, I don't know realm, now you know. So that's why I really believe we're at right now. But like I said, though, very, very, very interesting week. And especially, like with the Roman Reigns one really kind of tripped me out because I was like, wow, especially because you giving so much praise to somebody who has done so much against the type of foundations that are established to help in aiding with your health concerns. And so I would love to be able to I would just love to be able to hear like what his response would be to that. Like, how do you feel about the fact that the person that you put on such a high pedestal that you herald as being as someone that you admire really has cut a lot of funding from when it comes to cancer research. But that's a whole other conversation right there. That's a whole other conversation. But but I think but it is something that I think that should be discussed though. But that's another conversation for another day. All right, all right. But let's talk about what we are talking about tonight, and that is WrestleMania 41. We're talking about night one, Saturday night of WrestleMania 41, 41st annual WrestleMania. 41 years is crazy because, geez, I still remember watching WrestleMania 10, man. It's crazy that this is like where we're at right now. I'm watching that live in my friend's house, and now here we're at WrestleMania 41. But it's just tripped out to me, and yeah, and it was a night. It was it was a night, man, for real. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with everybody who's watching, and thank you very much, for tuning in, checking out the show and everything. I really appreciate you guys checking the show out. But I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you all. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it is, but something about tonight was missing. Something about tonight just did not feel or see. I don't know. Maybe is it the two night thing? Maybe because something about tonight just did not seem like WrestleMania to me. I don't know what it is. Maybe are we still getting used to the whole night one, night two situation? I mean, we've always been so used to it just being on Sunday, WrestleMania Sunday, and it was WrestleMania all day. Like you get your food together, you get yourself out the way, and you're home for the pre-show, and then you're watching WrestleMania for the next 5 hours, and then it's the end of the day or something. But I don't know what it was, but something felt just not like connecting tonight. I just cannot tell you what that is, but yeah, but but that's what it was. So perhaps it was the weeks of the booking that we've had to that we went through these last like month and a half or so. Getting ready for ever since the Elimination Chamber, getting ready for Mania, where it just didn't feel like the booking felt off. Like the booking felt lacking. The booking felt like it was kind of sloppy. I put a lot of this on Triple H, for a lot of his non-booking, for his non-booking abilities, and not being able to deliver, and not really being able to deliver really let me sink my teeth into this investment and invest into the storyline type of deal. And yeah, you can throw names around all you want and everything, and incorporate certain talent in various slots. But when it comes to actually having the fans wanting to have that original bite that you're not getting anywhere else, WrestleMania is a place to make that happen. And I feel like we didn't really necessarily get that. You know what I'm saying? So and maybe not, and maybe that's the night two might deliver something that'll blow us out the water. And I feel like the last couple of years that has been the case, where night one was kind of lackluster. Excuse me, sorry about that. And night two is what delivers on top. And so that might be what it is right there. However, can we not live and die by that formula, please? Like, seriously, can we have just two incredible nights? You have a lot of time to be able to book WrestleMania. You have time, like, you start booking WrestleMania and after Survivor Series. So essentially, you do have about about what, like 4 or 5 months to be able to properly book this event, and I feel like that has not been the case whatsoever. And tonight was an example of that, and we're gonna talk about it. So let's talk about the first match. The first match of the night. Well, first of all, it was really weird because the show opened up with Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll, he performed uh, uh, "God Bless America." Now, typically they sing "America the Beautiful," but they sung "God Bless America" tonight for whatever reason and everything. I was like, that's kind of different because they've always done "America the Beautiful," but tonight they did "God Bless America" and by Jelly Roll. Okay, all right, that's okay, all right. And of course, the show starts off with Triple H coming out to say, "Let's go to WrestleMania." I swear, man, I am. Look, dude, I'm sorry. I'm so damn tired of seeing Triple H's face. I see Triple H's face. We turn on Raw, when we saw on commercials. There's people advertising WrestleMania, Raw, SmackDown. Like Triple H is like I see Triple H more now than what I did when he was wrestling. Like seriously, you see Triple H everywhere. I get it. Like with this brand. I understand that, but damn, you have talent to be able to put out in front of you, bro. Like it doesn't have to always be you all the time. So just seeing his face is like, oh my god, here we go again, Triple H. So we've opened with the first match, which is going to be Jey Uso taking on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. And like how can I say this? Jey Uso, he is the winner of the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble. So of course he earned the right to face the whatever champion of his choosing at WrestleMania. He chose Gunther for the World Championship to get payback for his get retribution for his loss he took a Saturday Night's main event. We previously challenged him. And this match was booked like it was on Raw. It really was. It felt like a televised match. Jay had a couple of spots where they did not connect. He had one spot where he did his his back elbow into like a kick, but the back elbow looked like he gave him more back than elbow, and the kick looked like it barely came off the ground. It was like, oh, jeez. I think it was probably at like the 4-minute mark of that match. And in addition to that, he gave a spear that looked like it was. I think Jay needs to stop doing the spear, man. I'm sorry, he needs to stop doing the spear. The spear does not even look like it's anything. Like if his spear, a man of his size, his spear, because he lacks, like he's not like like a big old like cock diesel looking dude. Because of that, he's more like he's more of a speed guy. So if he does a spear, his spear should look devastating because of speed, but he doesn't put speed behind him when he's doing the spear, so it looks very lazy when he hits it. Like it looks like it's like you know what I'm saying? And when he hits it, so it doesn't really come off looking devastating or anything like that. So it's hard to, when you watch him do that on a man like Gunther, it's hard to take that spear seriously because you're just seeing him kind of like just like kind of like falling into the spear, not giving it. He's falling into it like on accident almost in a way. So we saw that a couple times tonight as well too. We see Jay doing he does the splash in the top rope on three of the top turnbuckles. I thought he was gonna go to all four, but he did three instead. He did three splashes, and then he ends up putting Gunther into a chokehold sleeper, and Gunther tapped. And then there you go. You have a new world heavyweight champion in Jey Uso, and it was just kind of like I guess it was just because the tapping seemed like it was it was very quick. It seemed very off. I prefer now Doc Hollywood. Shout out to Doc Hollywood, Law McMichael. He made the recommendation earlier this week that he thought that I should say prediction, not recommendation, but he made a prediction saying that he thought that it was going to be a squash, that Jay should come out there, go crazy, balls to the wall, maybe even, and like, you know, him and I were talking, I was thinking maybe even like a chair shot before the bell rings, so you completely disorientate Gunther. Chair shot, the bell rings, Gunther is staggering. Jay hits him with a spear, boom, the spear the right way, and then goes to the top rope, boom, hit the frog splash, boom, hit another one just, you know, for GP, and then 1, 2, 3, boom, you got a new world heavyweight champion. And I think that would have been a much better way to go, because that would have been very electrifying seeing it that way. You know what I mean? Seeing it in that sort of way. Seeing it in a way where it's like just very much like, oh my God, like a shock. Like having like a shotgun, like, you know, to you. And seeing it that way would have really been able to I feel like we would have really it really would have helped him a lot too, in terms of like, you know, kind of like bring some credibility that this man means business. He's out here to get the job done. He's not fucking around, and he's gonna go out there and he's gonna take care of the business he needs to take care of. I think that would have been a much better way of doing it, instead of you giving us a match, and the match unfortunately left the room to show that Jay has a lot of areas that he needs to improve on. And that's what we saw in the match. You know what I mean? And, you know, congrats, salute to you, Jay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mess with Jay heavy. I like him. I like him. I like him. You know what I'm saying? But then the bell rings, and it becomes kind of like a yikes fest. Y'all saying yeet, I'm saying yikes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I'm saying. And what's up, Melissa? Shout out to Melissa with the yeet. You know what I'm saying? I know she was happy. She's like the biggest Jay Uso fan in the planet. So I know she was hooping and hollering wherever she was at watching. But I'm just saying though, y'all say yikes, y'all say yeet, I say yikes. You know, when the bell rings. So yeah, but look, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to be proven wrong. I hope he's like a really great champion. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. With him being champion, and hopefully you know how to be able to carry a feud, because you are now the world champion. You know what I'm saying? And maybe your daddy gonna get off Twitter and complain to everybody. Turn the Karens. All right, let me stop. Shout out to Rikishi, man. Shout out to Rikishi. All right, next match is going to be for the World Tag Team Champions, the Raw Tag Team Champions. We're talking about the New Day challenging the War Raiders for the Raw Tag Team Championships. New Day, I like, you know, New Day, they look good. You know, like they just work well together. We're talking about two vets, in Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. We're talking about two vets in the ring, man. You know what I'm saying? And shout out, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to, you know what I'm saying, the only black male wrestlers that are booked for WrestleMania as well too. You know what I'm saying? Black wrestlers matter. You know what I'm saying? You know the deal, for real. You know what I'm saying? It's all it is what it is. But for real, shout out to them being actually booked for WrestleMania and everything. It was good seeing them on the card, and they got the win. They got the win over the War Raiders. Once again, this match was kind of booked like a Raw match. But you know, I mean, the War Raiders, they know how to move for, you know, a couple of really good big men who are very agile and very strong as hell too as well too. But Woods and Kofi, you know, they just worked really well together, you know, as a unit, and carrying on with their heel personas. It's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna do as the tag team champions now. As a heel, you know, we've seen them. They are 11-time tag team champions, you know, as part of the New Day. But now we're gonna see them as a tag team champions as a heel. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna see like what they do how they're going to be able to carry themselves as characters with those championship titles, as like the proverbial bad guys in their matches and everything. And it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to say the least. And there's gonna be other people. There's gonna be other teams that can compete against. You have the War Raiders. Because I'm pretty sure they're gonna invoke their rematch clause. Probably a Backlash, I'm assuming. Oh no, they're heels. I was gonna say the American Alphas, they're heels. But I mean, who knows? They can challenge for the tag belts, unless they're gonna have a program with Tozawa and Otis. So we're gonna see. Clint, what's up, Clint? Should the Street Profits and the MCM Morrissey Machine Gun has been on the show instead of the New Day and the War Raiders? I mean, like, maybe not. I mean, you know what? That was the thing, Clint. Like, when I was watching SmackDown on Friday, and when they showed that backstage segment with Street Profits, Morrissey Machine Guns, and what's DIY, I was like, oh, they're gonna what's his name? Nick Aldis is gonna book him to a Mania match. Okay, he's gonna put the rematch on Mania, but then he announced it's gonna be on next week on SmackDown. I'm like, put on Mania. We are literally at Mania weekend. We are at Mania weekend right now. Put it on Mania. And you're talking about a TLC match, dog. That's a Mania match. So seriously, so it didn't. So even if it wasn't replacing Kofi, New Day and War Raiders, put it on day 2. Well, we have the Raw tag belts on night 1. Now we have the SmackDown tag belts on night 2 in the TLC match. Like, come on. Like, that was the move right there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Like, I'm like, I'm not going back to SmackDown to watch it, bro. So, seriously, I'll turn on SmackDown so I can see what the result was in that match, see what the next story is going to be. You know what I'm saying? Put that match on Mania. So, yeah, man. Yeah, that was just like, wow. But yeah, no, like I said, that was both kind of like a Raw match. And shout out to the New Day for getting that W. You know what I mean? And going to the next level. The next match, match number 3 is going to be. It was Jade Cargill against Naomi. This is Jade Cargill's first singles WrestleMania appearance. I believe last year she tag team with Bianca Belair in a tag match in her first WrestleMania. So this is her first singles WrestleMania match tonight with Naomi. And shout out to Naomi. Naomi's a veteran. She's been at Manias for a minute, bro. Like, I think she go back to like Mania. She's like, I think 30. I want to say 30, I think, man, was her first Mania. Jeez. So Naomi been in the game for a minute. And that really showed today because Naomi had to do like a lot of heavy lifting in this match. You could clearly see that Naomi really did carry the match. She was the one who really made sure it flowed a certain way. She was able to assist in terms of like spot positioning, whether it be herself or Jade in the ring, to make sure that spots were executed the right way and whatnot. Calling spots the way it should have been called and everything like that. She really did do a good job making sure that Jade looked really as good as she could look out there. There were Jade got gas though, bro. I'm not good. She got gas. You can see it. She got gas like in the first 3 minutes of the match. I'm like, yo, like, why are you already tired, man? And we all know Jade looks absolutely insanely amazing. I mean, her shape is like, she looks like she was chiseled from stone. I mean, she looks incredible. Like, she looks like a live action, like a real life action figure. You know what I'm saying? She really does. And so seeing her gas in the 3 minutes, I'm like, lady, come on now. You know what I'm saying, sis? So, but yeah, like, so seeing that was really disconcerting. Like, damn, I hope the rest of the match is gonna be, it's gonna be okay. But Naomi made sure to really be able to like carry. Like I said, she did a lot of the heavy lifting in that match to make sure it did flow the right way. Um, but yeah, right, yeah, Clint, yeah, she was, yeah, they were, you can see that they're calling out the spots and everything. They were doing that. I wish that it started a little bit more with a little bit more intensity though. I was because like you if you watch the history of what led up to this match. I mean, this match low very low key. This is a very tamed WWE style blood feud. It kind of was, when you incorporate and you take into account all the back and forth that was going on with Twitter, which was hilarious between the two, but also like what you've been seeing them how they've been interacting with each other on SmackDown as well too. There was a lot of heat and animosity in this feud, so there's a lot of gas in this, and so you figure, okay, there's going to be a lot of fire, where's gas is fire, but it seemed to kind of start at first a little like intense, but then when it's like more like technicalities, where you saw like a headlock, and I'm just like, if I'm trying to like beat the hell out of somebody, I'm not thinking about headlock, I'm thinking about throwing these things, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, you don't you kind of want to find that sweet spot where you're able to, like, okay, like, let's make it look intense, but not blow ourselves up too fast. But too late, because Jay got tired. Oh man. Yeah. So it's it is what it was. It was what it was. But once again, like shout out to Naomi for carrying the match. Shout out to Jay. She got her first singles WrestleMania win. And her being a singles face is going to be, it carries a lot of responsibility. So this really is, I think she's kind of put in this position where it really is sink or swim for her, where she's going to have to really be able to understand how to be able to be in this position as a face, as a singles face, and really be able to take on that responsibility, because it's a lot of responsibility. It really is, especially for someone who is kind of respectfully, relatively still kind of green in the ring. Um, she still is kind of green, and I mean, like, look, I'm not expecting her to be a Lunger Blaze out there or Bull Nakano. I'm not looking for that from her right now whatsoever. But we do want to, and we do expect to see improvements now that she has this win under her belt. She has this feud that's behind her, and now it's okay. Let's see what we're gonna do with it next. You learned a whole lot being under the tutelage of both Bianca Belair and Naomi, two women who have had some amazing, incredible face runs. While Bianca's face run is probably unparalleled, Naomi's face run just as great, doing it in both WWE and in TNA. All right, where Bianca was able to do it in WWE and for a little bit in NXT as well too. But so you have a lot of experience being able to work with these amazing women and see how it is, be able to pick their brains, ask them questions, be able to learn from them. Now it's your turn to see like what you're able to do with yourself. So hopefully we're gonna see a lot of just really significant improvement that's gonna be coming from Jade Cargill. I really want to see it too as well too. I've loved Jade since she was in AEW, when she was just murdering it as a TBS champion. I love seeing her every week. And that was the one thing I really gave Tony Khan a lot of credit, was that even though she had a lot of flaws in her arsenal, the thing was that his whole thing was hide her negatives. We're working on that, but accentuate her positives as we are as in progress. And that's what really put her on the map. You know what I mean? So, for real, like, salute to TK for that as well too. And I thought that was really done well. But shout out to Jade though. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see what it goes. And we'll see what happens. The next match is for the United States Championship title. It is Jacob Fatu challenging LA Knight. So We saw that. We saw the use of. It looked like LA Knight came out like he, like his Uber dropping him off too as well. Y'all know it was the way how the car pulled up, the way he got out was like, "Hey, what's up, guy? I'm here." I'm like, "Is this your Uber?" It was the way he got out was like, "Hey guys, I just got here. Did I miss anything?" "No, you're here for your match." "Oh, okay, all right, great." So that's what it kind of reminded me of. Yeah, it reminded me of that Clint. It reminded me of like an Uber dropping off, but I was like, oh hell no. But yeah, this match is awesome. I thought it was really cool seeing this, man. Jacob Fatu, he got the W. He got the W over LA Knight, winning the United States Championship. And it was cool seeing that, man. It was really cool seeing that. Just because Jacob Fatu was just different, man. Like he's just so damn smooth in the ring. And he's just so damn good, bro. As a big man, the way how he moves and everything, and like going back to his days back in MLW when he was having wars with Alexander Hammerstein, and them going back and forth. They traded that world championship back and forth. It was ping pong, and they always had some classics in the ring too. And so seeing where he was then, think about where he was then tonight to 2 years later. Here he is at WrestleMania winning the United States Championship. It really was cool as hell seeing that, It low key, and I'm not comparing the two. I'm not comparing the two. But it sort of reminded me of, I don't know if that's a good comparison. I was gonna bring up WrestleMania 23 when Chris Benoit beat MVP for the U.S. Championship. And how cool was that seeing that? But 3 years prior to that, we saw Chris Benoit win the World Heavyweight Championship at Madison Square Garden WrestleMania 20. That's why I'm like, maybe that's not a good comparison, because I was thinking about the U.S. Championship. I was thinking about that. So yeah, hey, all right, forget I said anything. Just all right, shut the fuck up, Maurice. Let's just go back to what we're talking about. But yeah, seeing that but the match was really good. It was booked really cool, and it was not booked like a weekly televised match. It was booked like a match you would actually see on a pay-per-view, a match that, let's say, if you were watching these guys every week. Now we're getting something that's a little more elevated than what you would get on Netflix or the USA Network or whatever channel SmackDown comes on. So it was really cool seeing that, and it was really good booking. What were my notes about that? Yeah, and oh yeah, the crowd woke up. The crowd woke up because the crowd was sleeping. The crowd was asleep. For the last 3 matches, and after they got done yeeting, they went from yeeting to sleeping, because during that tag match, abysmal, not gone, knocked out, NyQuil. Women's match, goddamn it, more NyQuil and melatonin. This match, coffee, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, good stuff. They woke the hell up for this match. Red Bull, right? This is the Red Bull match, because they finally woke up for this match, and so it was good seeing that, because this is the match that you had to wake up on. Just like I said, this is some good ass wrestling. They moved really well. These are 2 guys in there that know the ring, that are that have been in the business for quite some time. They understand how to be able to move, how to be able to tell a good story in the ring, and that's exactly what they did. And it was really good seeing that. So shout out to Jacob Fatu for being able to win his first singles championship in the WWE at WrestleMania. Next match, Jesus Christ. The next match is El Grande Americano, God, against Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix, he was substituting for Rey Mysterio, who got injured a couple of nights ago. I think it was on SmackDown, I believe, or before SmackDown, whatever it was. But but this probably, you could say that was an upgrade of being able to bring in Rey Fenix over Rey Mysterio. Granted, yeah, Rey Mysterio is a legend and everything like that, but just the way how he moves, it's just it probably wouldn't have been, it probably wouldn't have done it too much justice. Rey Fenix was able to pull out a lot more offense that we would have seen, that we would not have seen from Rey Mysterio. I'm curious to how Rey Fenix felt about just barely debuting on WWE. And he has a WrestleMania match. I was very curious about that, like how he like on some as a shoot, like how he felt in real life about being in that position right there. And so yeah, so it was so yeah, it was. Look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. The whole Grande Americano thing, I can deal without it, just because I have been campaigning. You can even ask Clint Dye this. I have been campaigning for Chad Gable to get a significant push for like 3 years now. For 3 years, I've been saying this guy is literally giving us the best matches on Monday Night Raw every week. Every week, he's giving us the best matches on Raw. Even when he went on like a long losing streak, where he lost every match he had on Raw for probably about 2.5 months. He lost every match on Raw. But you know what? That match was the best match of the night every time he lost. And I'm like, this man is giving us some damn good wrestling. Some damn good match, some damn good wrestling, man. He's telling us some really good stories in the ring. This brother knows how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, this is who I want to see in the top. For real. I want to see Chad Gable was the world champion. Because he wrestles like he is the world champion every week when he's out there losing to people like Funaki or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not literally, but you feel me on that though. And so it never was happening. I was like, okay, this guy be the year that Chad Gable was going to win the Money in the Bank. Okay, no, it didn't happen this year. It's going to happen next year. Okay, this gotta be the year where Chad Gable was going to be top Final Four in the Royal Rumble. It's gotta be the year. Okay, it didn't happen. It's going to happen next time. All right, bet. All right, it's gotta be the year that Chad Gable was going to win a singles championship. He's going to become the IC champion and bring some honor and prestige to that championship belt. Okay, did it happen? It's going to happen. It keeps happening with him where he's not getting that shine he deserves. So then they come up with this Grande Americano storyline gimmick. At first, when he was like, I'm gonna go to what he say? I'm gonna go find me a luchador school or something like that to study the art of lucha. I thought that was going to be the way they brought in Aleister Black. Malachi Black, Aleister Black, whatever. I thought that's what they're going to do because I thought it was going to be him. I thought that was going to be the way they were going to bring in Aleister Black back to the WWE. But that didn't happen. Instead, we get this whole Chad's wearing the mask. He's grounded. It's the whole double identity. Wait, we talk about that's not me. I'm not him. It's just a lot of like, it's too like, like it's too fuck off. All right, you know what I'm saying? It's like, stop it, man. You know what I mean? For real, he's better than this. And we saw that tonight. We saw that tonight in the match with Rey Fenix. It wasn't a bad match. Like, this really was a good match. Like, when you just look at the wrestling that was involved, the moves that we saw, the movement, the way how they were able to counter and everything, we saw a good match with them too. But it's just it's the stain on the white t-shirt when you got this goddamn Grande Americano thing going on with it. I'm just like, it irks me, man. It irks. And what's up, Carissa? What's good, lady? You know what I'm saying? But he is now spearheading a luchador cruiserweight resurgence. The quality of WCW. I hope so. We're gonna talk about Triple A in a second. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying, man. Like it's the stain on the white t-shirt. It's like, oh God. So of course, like someone like me who has been campaigning for there to be a significant push for Chad Gable to be in the main event conversation, when you've been heralding him for so long, you've been campaigning for that, and you've been focusing on the possibility of him being on the top of the mountain, or at least in the vicinity of the top of the mountain, and you get this, it's like, damn. Damn. So it's, oh God, I just it's a hard, it's just hard for me to be able to take it seriously. That's all I'm saying. It's hard for me to take seriously. And those, well, it's pro wrestling. I get that. I get you're supposed to have fun with it. But when you have a talent like Chad Gable, who really is our modern day Kurt Angle in terms of the way how he wrestles, the way how he presents himself, the way how he speaks, the way how he works, and his workouts, and this just his entire persona, you don't want to make that into a goofy. You don't want to make that to a goofy. Come on, man. So that's what I'm saying, man. It's like you have an opportunity to really make this something very great. So it's like, why not take that opportunity? Right? Why not take that opportunity? But yeah, so it was a good match. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't an awful match. I just, like I said, I just wish we could go without the whole Grande. That's all I'm saying. I wish we could go without that. I would have appreciated having been able to see Chad Gable against Rey Fenix at WrestleMania with a significant build. Give me a proper build for that match at WrestleMania, and you can have my money. Okay? You can have my money, okay? Seriously. So give me a significant build. Give me a proper build, and I will shut the hell up. I'll shut the hell up. But this match was literally signed in like 24 hours. And I just feel like WrestleMania deserves a lot. Should be that should not even be in the realm of even thought when it comes to WrestleMania. Seriously, like we said at the top of the show, you have about 4.5 months to book for WrestleMania. There is no excuse whatsoever to be booking matches 24 hours out from WrestleMania, or even 6 days out from WrestleMania. There's no excuse for that. Come on, stop that. Don't do that. Honestly, if you do that, give me something proper that leads up to the signing of the match 6 days before. When they signed Triple H against Undertaker at WrestleMania 17, I believe that was 10 days before WrestleMania 17. I believe it was. However, the difference was we had about 3.5 to 4 weeks of build for that match. We knew it was coming up. We knew it was happening. We knew it was gonna go down. And they didn't make it official until 10 days before WrestleMania 17. But we knew for about damn near like 3.5 to 4 weeks that match was happening at the Astrodome. So I'm saying, proper build. Do it the right way. Or don't do it at all. Speaking of doing it at all, that leads us to our World Women's Heavyweight Championship match for the SmackDown brand. We saw the champion, Tiffany Stratton, Tiffy time, challenge, or I'm sorry, excuse me. She is defending her championship against the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble. Okay, Maurice, I can talk. The winner of the Women's Royal Rumble match, Miss Charlotte Flair, making her illustrious return back in January from her injury. One second, guys. A little parch. Tiffany had a very creative. She had a creative entrance. She was pontificating over her whole Barbie gimmick. The entrance would have been fire had this been, when did the Barbie movie come out? When Oppenheimer came out, that was 2023, was it? Or something like that. Why are they dressed alike? Right? They did look alike. Oh wait, you talking about Chad and Ray Phoenix? Yeah, they looked exactly alike. That was weird. Um, yeah, they had the same colors and everything. Chad was wearing a singlet and Ray was wearing I think it was pants or something like that, but whatever. But yeah, but they did look alike though. They did. Yeah, Tiffany, she came out in the whole Barbie gimmick. Oh, you meant Charlotte and Tiffany? Them too. Them too. A whole bunch of just like tall, leggy blondes. And just dressed alike, just rolling around. But yeah, she came out in the Barbie gimmick, which is cool. It totally fit her personality. And Charlotte came out in a Rolls Royce. Didn't Charlotte come out in a car like the last WrestleMania she wrestled in? I feel like her entrances have like I remember her entrance for WrestleMania 34. Was it where she emulated her father's Starcade 88 entrance? Was it Starcade 88, Clint? The first arcade or the 84? I can't remember. But I feel like her entrance at WrestleMania 34, where she mimicked her father's Starcade entrance, I think that was Charlotte's greatest entrance ever. That entrance still, like when I think back of it, that John gave me chills straight up. I know, right? Where's Dan at? For real. But I think you might be right. I think it's 84. But yeah, that gave me chills. And when Charlotte did it at WrestleMania 34, um, I was like, it blew me away. Like how beautiful that presentation looked. Please, if you can, if you don't know what I'm talking about, do yourself a favor, give yourself a break. Look at Google Charlotte entrance WrestleMania 34. 2 minutes of freaking just art. It's so beautiful. I loved it so much. Anyway, but yeah, I feel like they've been kind of like declining a little bit. But anyway, she pulled up in the Rolls Royce, and they purposely made sure that the point to the upper deck did not show her getting out the car. It was probably awkward because of that her big ass robe and everything like that. Which I understand that, from a production standpoint. I'm not gonna hold that against them. And she came out, and her robe was very old school Ric Flair like, and so it looked really great. So yeah, so they both came out looking really good. The match was cool. It was a decent match. It was a good match. It wasn't a bad match. I didn't think it was that bad. They made sure to keep the heat up, like to make sure like they looked like there was like a lot of animosity between the two and everything. So that was that was cool to see. It was concern. I was concerned about Charlotte's leg at various points of the match because even though like she did have on the brace and everything, you just never know when it comes to just like how those things, if they really are protecting you the way how they are. You never know if you're gonna like if you're gonna like tweak it a certain way, you're gonna land a certain way or whatever may have you, or something gets hit. You just never know. So I was a little concerned about her well being in the match. Um, she they were chatty in the ring as well too. You could tell like they were calling out spots, but whatever. It's pro wrestling. It's all good. And whatever it is, what it is. As long as you hit your next spot, that's all that really matters and everything. And they were able to do that. They were able to do that. It was a lot of slams too. It was a lot of slams. A lot of like like slams. A lot of like not the damn spine busters as well too. Like we saw a few of those. So I mean, they really were like going at it. They made it very hard hitting. It wasn't super like sleeky and pretty or whatever may have you. Like they really did kind of go out there and work, and it really did look like it was like pretty hard hitting. He low key reminded me a little bit of Masha Slamovich against Jordan Grace at Bound for Glory from last year, 2024. If you watch that match was hard hitting the entire time. Like they said, hey, I believe they had a conversation like, hey, bitch, I love you to death, but let's go out there and really kick each other's kick each other's ass. And they did that in that match because it was hard hitting like a mug. And that's what this sort of reminded me. It reminded me of a very WWE version of his two women who were out there giving each other the go, going hard, going ham on each other, and really being able to deliver and everything. There were some spots in the match, that looked a little suspect and everything like that. That looked a little kind of funky as well too. Like, there were a few areas where they had to kind of correct themselves and everything. But that's gonna happen. But I mean, I'm not gonna take anything away from them. They really did, do pretty well. I thought Charlotte was gonna win just because I thought perhaps that they wanted to see another Charlotte reign, and what could go about that. Perhaps maybe like a feud with her and crap, no, she's on Raw. I was gonna say perhaps maybe a feud with her and Lyra, like a champion versus champion kind of thing, but they're on two different brands, so 86 that the idea. Or maybe like a feud with her and Thea. I'm sorry, Zelina. So I that's what I was kind of thinking, like maybe they'll go in that route. But they had Tiffany get the win, and Tiffany got the win, and she won, and she retained the championship, and she has a championship victory over Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. So good for her. Good for her. And we'll see what happens. I prefer Tiffany as a heel, though. So I kind of hope she goes back being a heel, after some time. Her as a face, I just don't think it fits her at all. I don't think her being a face really fits her character, and it doesn't really do it a lot of justice in terms of like, I feel that like someone like her has to be pompous, has to be arrogant, has to be kind of a bitch. You know what I mean? So this way, like, because her persona screams all of that. Screams, I am better than you, I am higher than you, I'm forever gonna be above you. And I think that like she can run a lot further with that than being the super very pretty girl who's a baby face. I just don't know if that goes to that far. Because I think that she feels a lot more comfortable being that heel role anyway, because I feel like that her being a face doesn't really give her that freedom. Now, granted, this feud gave her some freedom to be able to be a little more aggressive because of like what she was dealing with Charlotte when they're incorporating some real life situations into their story. But but yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see what she does now as still the champion. So salutes to her and see what happens. They might they probably will like maybe they'll revamp her feud with Nia, and they'll have like a program or something like that. So we'll see what happens. All right, and then they had the they had the Hall of Famers come out. They had the Hall of Famers come out. Medusa, not Medusa. I don't know how I got her confused with Medusa. Good Lord. Michelle McCool came out. She looks different, by the way, number one. Number two, I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure out why she's in the Hall of Fame. Somebody tell me. Why is she in the Hall of Fame? For what? Seriously. For what? When was the last time you ever said, hey, what match was fire? That match was with Michelle McCool. That sentence has never come out your mouth. I can guarantee that. Not even being ironic. That sentence has never came out your mouth. So somebody let me know why she's in the Hall of Fame. Why? All right, okay. That's what I thought. So she came out. Typhoon came out, which was really cool seeing him out there. I didn't see Lex Luger though. So I don't know if like he had to go home or what, but I didn't see Lex Luger. I didn't watch the Hall of Fame. And I just want to see Lex Luger's speech, and I want to see Brett's and Stone Cold speech. You see the clip going around, Brett rolling his eyes at the chicken. But hey, I was going to say about that clip. Triple H came out, of course. But when Brett and Stone Cold were up there, they look like, hey, can we go? Can we go? Can I get my check? Can I go back home? I'm ready to go to the crib. I'm ready to go back to the hotel room. I'm ready to get this goddamn suit off. I want to put my feet up. I'm ready to order some room service. I'm ready to watch some stupid ass TV. I just want to chill. I'm not trying to be here right now, and I gotta sit here and I gotta listen to Triple Nose over here stroke his damn ego for the 3,426th time. I'm good. Yes, Clint. I definitely saw the eye roll. It was hilarious. Brett was like, "Yeah, whatever, motherfucker. I am still not over 97. You're still a dick. I can't stand you. Go to hell. Where's my money? For real, where's my money? Because seriously, like, you needed me. Because here's I'm just gonna keep 1,000 with y'all. Here's my thing. I feel like they incorporated this whole match thing, which let me just say the whole match scenario is cool. I'm with it. And especially Stone Cold and Bret Hart from WrestleMania 13 definitely deserves this honor because that match was absolutely mind-blowingly amazing and phenomenal. And I was there to see it, witness it live, and it changed the landscape of wrestling as we see it today. But I feel like the real reason why they put that match in was because them tickets were not moving. They were not selling tickets for the Hall of Fame. Because when you notice when they announced that as the induction for the Hall of Fame, that it was going to be the match between Austin and the Hitman from WrestleMania 13, they didn't say tune in on USA or tune in on Peacock or whatever. They said, get your tickets right now. Get your tickets to be in the house. Stone Cold's going to be there. Bret Hart's going to be there. Get your tickets. That's what they said immediately. They didn't say nothing about no airtime, nothing about no channel, nothing about make sure you watch. It was get your tickets because they needed to move tickets for that mug. For real. They needed to move tickets. And nobody was in and trust me, I'm not playing because the temperature out there was people were like, I'm already down there dropping $7-8 for WrestleMania tickets. Damn, these Hall of Fame tickets, they trying to go in my pockets for this too. Damn. And they weren't trying to pay it. But they were saying, get your tickets. So that's what I'm saying. It was a money grab. I feel it was a money grab. It was a cool money grab. It was cool, but it's a money grab. That's what it was. And Brett know it. Austin know it. And it had to be they had to get them a nice check. Because if you were able to get Austin this year to be a Mania for the Hall of Fame joint, but you weren't able to get him last year for when it really made sense for him to come out to confront The Rock during that whole Cody Roman Reigns debacle, that bag had to be nice this year. Unless or Austin just needed to buy some eggs and was like, shit, I need some money, so I don't give a fuck with y'all. It's playing. It's playing. But you feel me? So yeah, so that's what I think. So yeah, they want to be anywhere else in the world and up there, having to listen to Triple H love himself. So yeah. Yeah, I feel you, Brett. I feel you. Then speaking of which, that leads us to the main event of the evening. It's going to be the triple threat to close out WrestleMania 41 Night 1. The triple threat involving Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman would be in the corner of CM Punk per his promise. Maybe a promise. So this match had nothing. There was nothing on the line. Nothing was at stake. No number one contendership was on the table. There were no titles, obviously, on the table as well, too. Just three grown men fighting over the love of Paul Heyman. Can't make this up. So here we are. I guess this is our main event for night one. Yeah, and just as expected, a very overbooked match. We knew we were going to see a lot of spots. We were going to see a lot of false finishes. We saw, the possibility of a Shield reunion between Roman and Seth. It sort of reminded me of shades of WrestleMania 20 when Shawn and Triple H double teamed Benoit on some a la DX type stuff, but it didn't happen. Roman Reigns said, "No, I'm not going to do the powerbomb with you. I'm going to do it my damn self," and he powerbombed both CM Punk and Seth Rollins to the table. And then we see a lot of back and forth, with everybody doing their finishing moves and everything, when they lay each other out, all the good stuff and everything like that. So this way they can have a little bit of a rest period. And then we see the rub. We see the rub. And that was the very end when Paul Heyman looked like, Paul Heyman turned on Roman Reigns by giving CM Punk the chairs. This way he can have the event, he can have the defining object to give him the win. He gave CM Punk the chair, but then here comes Paul Heyman, low blowing CM Punk and saying, I'm not with you, my tribal chief. And he gives the tribal chief the chair, and he presents it to the Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins is trying to get on for the Roman. They're looking, his back is to you. You have the chair. It's your chance to be able to get retribution and be able to strike him in the back. The way he did to you, and now it's your time. I know I sound like a Baptist preacher, don't I? But that's what it seemed like, though, the way how he was preaching that Roman Reigns, and the more he was doing it, I was like, can you make it any more obvious what we're about to see? Damn! And it was exactly what everyone thought. Here goes Paul Heyman, boom, low blow Roman Reigns. Everybody in the crowd acting like they're surprised. I'm like, I know y'all should not be acting brand new. We saw this a mile away. You had this entire build-up for the last month has been for the love of Paul Heyman between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. But here's the thing. There's a wild card in that damn conversation. His name is Seth Rollins. So how are we going to ignore the entire wild card that's in the match? And then we see Paul Heyman is the one who gives Seth Rollins the chair. Seth Rollins is the one who lays out Roman Reigns with the chair. Seth Rollins is the one who does the curb stomp. And Seth Rollins is the one who gets the 1, 2, 3 count, and he goes home the victor. And he goes home with the pretty girl from prom. And the pretty girl in this case is Paul Heyman. Oh, man. You had Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, all former world champions, all future greats, who are arguably probably like, at either they're at that point of their careers where it's like the top of the game might be a little bit behind you, but you still got a little bit more in the tank and everything. This was just a very weird way to book these three in a weird love triangle for freaking Paul Heyman. And it's like, it was just really bizarre seeing this. And the ending, we all saw it coming a mile away. Like I said, you had a wild card that was out there that we just kept on forgetting about, it seemed like. And oh my God, there's a wild card involved in this. And then we got act surprised. So that's how WrestleMania Night 1 ends. It ends with what we all kind of saw happening. And there it is. And right now, Triple Nose is on the post conference. Shocker, he's on television. Oh my God, he's never been a camera he didn't like, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, and that's what we saw. Like I said, this is an outcome that I feel that was very evident that we saw happening weeks ago when Seth Rollins was kept on being left out the equation. This sort of in a way reminds me of, and we're going to see the match tomorrow with Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. This sort of reminded me of a male version of that, where you have these two men between CM Punk and Roman Reigns having this back and forth with each other on, where they're playing tug of war and everything. And here's Seth Rollins in the background. What about me, guys? What about me? What about me? What about me? And it's like, Jesus Christ, man! Like this is crazy, bro. I personally feel like we're gonna look back on this in a few years and be like, what the hell was that? What in the hell was that? What seriously, what the hell was that? I do they think we boo with a fool? What the hell was that? I'm sorry, but I don't think that this is not going to be one of those triple threat matches that we look back and be like, that was a classic. You know what I mean? You think triple threat matches from WrestleMania Classics? What do you think of? You think of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. You think about that match. You think about Bryan Danielson, Randy Orton, and Batista. You think about Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. Like, you want to talk about classic triple threats? That's what you think about from WrestleMania. The Lays one, that's a little bit debatable. That's a little bit debatable. But the prior two, that's what you think about, especially Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. That's what you think about when you talk about classic triple threat. And as much star power as this one had, I can't see that one being in the conversation. And that sucks. And that damn near, it almost feels like the 03-04 Lakers, when you had Shaq, Kobe, Rod. What was Rodman on that one? Shaq, Kobe, Gary Payton, Karl Malone, Robert Horry. You know what I'm saying? You had all those guns on there, but you couldn't win a championship. And I just feel like you have all these guns in this match, but it's not gonna be one of those ones. You know what I mean? So, but that was night one of WrestleMania 41. That was night one, and we have night two to look forward to. So hopefully, continuing on the trend of night one being kind of suspect and night two delivering, maybe we'll get that tomorrow night, but we'll see. And before we get out of here, yes, WWE made a surprise announcement today during the pre-show that I believe it was either WWE or TKO, but one of those two entities purchased AAA Wrestling based out of Mexico, and they're going to be having a show this summer, NXT versus AAA when worlds collide. And okay, well, you know what? Acquisitions, salute and everything. That's good to hear. I'm curious as to what's going to happen, because isn't El Patron their like mega champion in AAA? So I'm curious to know what's going to happen about that. I heard that what's his name? His name like Raja something right now. I can't remember, but Jinder Mahal. He wrestled Jinder Mahal in WWE, but I'm sorry, I'm just gonna use the WWE name. Jinder Mahal is I believe he's like one half of the tag champs in AAA. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that as well too. AAA hasn't really been making too much noise. El Hijo de Vikingo, he wrestled at Bound for Glory this past October, after making a return to the ring for being out for like a year and a half or so from injury. And I think he got injured the next night during the Impact tapings. So I believe he is going to be back and he's healthy again. So I believe that he played a role in the in the Rey Fenix match tonight as well too. So you have him. But the thing is, though, the roster in AAA is very thin because everyone left. Everyone who was somebody they left. They're no longer part of the roster anymore. So it's interesting to see, like, what's going to happen. And I wonder if this is kind of like their way of responding to the beefed up collaboration that AEW has been having with CMLL. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, though. So, yeah, I'm still processing it. When it comes to the acquisition, I'm still processing it, and I want to get some more information. I'm curious to see like what they're going to do with it. If they really are going to, like, Clint, I know Clint, you mentioned earlier that it's an opportunity for them to be able to bring the cruiserweight division back to prominence and everything. The way how it was in the WCW days, that was different though. Just WCW days was different. Just like there was an air of originality and a very organic feel to it, where WWE does not really have that too much that often because everything's so mechanical with them now. But we'll see what happens, though. We'll see. Of course, I hope good things come about it, but there remains to be seen, and we can talk more about it though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your boy is tired. Now your boy not tired. He tired. I'm going off for 1 hour of sleep, y'all, and I'm about to reclaim about 13 hours of sleep right now. So let me get out of here. It was awesome being able to chat up with you guys. I miss the hell out of all y'all so much. I miss the hell out of being on this camera, being in front of y'all, and being able to give you guys programming. But like I told you at the top of the show, B-Side Studios is back. We're back with not only 25th hour for after all the wrestling pay-per-views. We're going to be chopping it up, talking about, like what happened at the events and everything, but also be able to look out for new episodes of The Nerdium, new episodes of Sippin' and Trippin', new episodes of Buzz and Bizzle, new episodes of Mentality, and new episodes of a brand new show that we have coming up, hosted by John Robinson, excuse me, where it's going to be all about food and everything. And we have a lot more original programming and events that are happening as well, too, in addition, like live events happening. So please, please, please keep it locked. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitch as well, too. We're always going to be showing content. I'm trying to have content shown every day. So that's why when you see those B-side rewinds, there's a purpose behind those. So, give those a watch. Even if you only watch for like 5 minutes or whatever like that, just check it out, see what we have going on and everything. We always got something cooking, but we have a lot coming up in just in the matter of months and everything. So please keep it locked. Thank you for continuing to support us. You're gonna see a lot more B-side stuff happening live in your neighborhood and online as well too. And I'm telling you guys, we're gonna be going crazy this year. All right, we missed you guys so much. We love you all so much. Thank you for always, just showing us love and being on our side and everything, and just really rocking with us. I can't thank you enough for that. But in that though, you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Get something to eat, get something to drink, chill, love, be with your peoples, love your loved ones, and I'm gonna holler at y'all at that time. All right, y'all be easy. Have a good night. Thank you once again for joining us. Your boys out. Have a good night, y'all. Be safe.